Thank you. What I thought I'd do today is tell you a little bit about, you're hearing a lot of trends, and you're going to hear some common themes that are going through all of our presentations, because we use kind of trends for multiple reasons within our company. One, our sales team and corporate chefs go into national accounts like Chili's or McDonald's or whatever, and work with their corporate chefs to develop new menu applications. And we use trends to help them in terms of what are their consumers looking for. And especially with the changing profile of consumers, what are they expecting to see on menus now that didn't happen maybe 10 years ago from now? We also use it to keep our products up to date, because we're thinking about how do we position our products to our customers to make sure that they're on trend, and what's important at this point in time that may not have been important, again, 10 years ago. And the last reason that we use this is because we are developing new products. And so we use these trends to help us develop new products. So today I'm going to go through some quick trends, food, snacking-wise. I thought you'd be interested in seeing Gen Z, who is the kind of the next millennial group that's coming up and that you're starting to deal with in classrooms and will be dealing with in the future in classrooms. And then I'm going to talk about some new products for us. So here we go. Just to give you an overview of just the food service in general, it continues to grow slowly, not by leaps and bounds. The 2% is actually how pure the food service industry is currently growing. The 4 to 5% is with inflation. And restaurants include everything from fine dining to casual, fast casual, and QSR. And beyond restaurants is basically all the non-commercial business, which is schools, healthcare, businesses, and that type of thing. This is a little, oh, it's better to read up there, good. These are two ways of trends that we're looking at things happening in the industry right now. The first would be the chef-driven fast casual. And I think you're going to see this continuing to grow. We all know Danny Meyer has his Shack Shack, which has just gone public and continues to grow. We happen to be Dole is working with Roy Choi in LA to develop a restaurant called Three Worlds Cafe. We're opening our new one, our first one, this summer in Watts. And we're trying to bring good, healthy, low-cost, fast casual food to consumers who really are looking for it. So I think this is something you're going to keep seeing more and more. The other thing is the hypo local sourcing. This is kind of different than local sourcing of ingredients like Mary was talking about. Hypo is made actually at the restaurant. So either they have maybe a herb wall, they could have their own garden, they could make their own condiments, or they're a microbrewery that's brewing on site. Another one that we're interested in, of course, is natural ingredients, and you're going to hear more and more about that. And then we also have the street food, which is getting a little bit more over. I think that's a trend that will always be here, but it's not going to be as hot as what it has been in the past. And then nutrition is important, but it's not like the driving force. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit more in terms of looking for healthy but good tasting food. And then the last one that I think is going to be an interesting one that I think we're going to continue to see growing is this home delivery meals. As you all know, Martha Stewart, or maybe you haven't heard, recently signed a contract or a deal with Blue Apron. And She is going to now start getting into this business. I don't know where it's going to go, but this is not a business that's going to go away because we have baby boomers and we have 1- and 2-person households who either don't know how to cook or don't want to cook. They want a lot of variety in terms of what they eat at night. They don't want leftover food. So this is the perfect application for them. So I think this is a trend we'll continue to watch. And of course, on the flavor-wise, condiments are huge. Ethnic condiments are a large area. And of course, sriracha, who hasn't heard about that for the past few years? But luckily, there's some other things on the horizon, harissa and chimichurri, and of course, curry. And then, as Mary also mentioned, the authentic ethnic cuisine. Consumers are really looking for this. They travel worldwide. They know they expect to have it in their restaurants. And just the different, I think Africa is going to start emerging as a very large cuisine that's going to start seeing more and more. It'll be interesting this summer with the Olympics being in Brazil, how we start to see more Brazilian food come about, also Argentina, Chile, and Peru. Today, healthy eating is more clean eating. Consumers are really looking for something that's clean, a little bit more natural, not as processed as what we have had in the past. They're a little bit more forgiving in terms of they'll indulge some, but as long as it's more clean and not processed, we're finding. And it's also more plant-based than it has been in the past. And of course, plant-based is very good for our company because we obviously produce a lot of it. So, but anyway, and this is just talking about some of the worldwide surveys that have been done about more consumers shopping for nutritious and healthy foods, placing more of a premium on nutrition than they have. And then also, consumers are eating more fruits and vegetables, some maybe not always as much as we like, but they are eating more than what they have in the past. And healthy snacks is something up and coming, and we're going to talk about that next in just another slide. Let's talk about what healthy was like in the 80s and 90s. Healthy back then was always what you should not have. You should not have high calories. You should not have fat. You should not have saturated fat. And so what if it doesn't taste good? It's good for you. Well, we've certainly all seen products that have gone into these fads and failed because they really don't taste good. Consumers now are looking for things that are much more wholesome, good for you, no preservatives, more made to order than they have been in the past, better for me, and they're looking into a little bit more moderation. So today's healthy is much more what's good for me and more fresh than it has been in the past. And some of the healthy products that are coming and you're seeing more on menus, you know, you see a lot more alternatives of fruit cups instead of like chips and French fries for meals. Oatmeal, Quaker is jumping on this bandwagon of oatmeal being created at night and soaked overnight so that you have fresh oatmeal in the morning. It's a huge craze that's starting to happen. Of course, skim milk, fruit juice, and hot tea. And bacon is still the indulgence. Everyone knows it's not good for you, but they certainly like to have it once in a while. I will mention on the healthy items, I think it's an interesting story. Dole has a very long-term relationship with Disneyland. And Disney has really, over the past few years, tried to make their menus on the park more nutritious. They stopped their relationship with McDonald's several years ago. And they started looking at like their kids' meals and seeing what they could do as an alternative. And they have carrots as instead of fries or chips. The first weekend that they put the meals on the menu with the carrot sticks, they actually sold out of the carrot sticks instead of the chips. So people and parents are trying to do something a little better if they have the choice to make. So I think that's an interesting point. And this is just to talk globally, again, about snacks. Chocolate worldwide is still #1. We all love our chocolate, and there's lots of alternatives, as we saw today in the info fair. I thought that was great. But fruits and vegetables worldwide are 1 and 2. Here in North America, we're more the chip people, and then chocolate and cheese. We haven't quite got that fruits and vegetables up as high as we should, but in the US, we like a lot more cheese. Of course, the grain bars are gaining in popularity, and fruits are finally coming up, but we need to see them rise a little higher, in our opinion. Let's talk about Gen Z. This is kind of the next generation that's coming up. They are born 1993 or after. They are already foodies. They come from parents who are much more interested and into food themselves, and they like to embrace authenticity in taste. And 20% of these parents are tired of, say their kids are tired of kids' menus. It's interesting. One of the things that we probably work the most with national accounts or chains is trying to think about what they can do with their kids' menu. Because I think everyone is struggling with this. They have their mac and cheese or their little hamburger or their hot dog or whatever, and it's like, that's not what kids are looking for today. They're looking for something different. And they're much more venturesome, and they have a much more sophisticated palate than probably any of us had at that age. And they're also growing up with parents who take them out to dinner, and they'll try things. So they're much more exposed in a lot of different ways than previous generations. They are also more multicultural than probably we have ever been in the US. And they're changing just because, first of all, kids are now going to school with multi-ethnicity backgrounds and trying different things than they have before. 47% of Americans under 20 are now non-white, and 23 of children born in 2012 had an Hispanic mom. So this group is going to go forward being much more diverse and much more interested in trying a lot more ethnic cuisines than we've ever had before. So I think we'll see a big change to the palates in the coming future. And kids also are from, some of them are from millennial parents and some are not. So they're growing up with the importance of eating well and exercising. And 27% are saying that they're trying to get their kids to eat healthier foods versus less processed. And parents, as we've talked about, are expecting kids' menus to be healthier than what they currently are. And they're much more savvy, as we've talked about. I want to just share 2 really big food trends that we're looking at Dole, because we think that these are going to be things that will be coming. We call this kind of the frozen fruit bowl. This is like the smoothie bowls that everyone's seeing, the acai bowls, the bowls that have a little bit of everything in them. They're kind of a one-dish meal that can be anything from a breakfast, lunch, dinner to a snack. They offer lots of flavor, crunch and texture. So, and we think this is going to apply across all applications of food service. So we see this as one big trend that will continue for quite a long time. The second, which we really like, is the vegetable-centric. And this is, as consumers are being told to cut back on protein, vegetables are coming more foreplay and taking more center of the plate. A lot more is being done to vegetables. They're being charred, seared, grilled, roasted, even on rotisserie. They're adding flavors to them that, instead of just being bland. And they're seeing a lot more interest happening. And every year it seems like last year it was cauliflower and carrots were kind of the hot vegetables. And this year you're seeing more kale and chard and some other things coming up. So I think we're going to continue to see more vegetables going forward. So as a result of this, Dole we've just introduced a line of vegetable purees because this is our first entry into vegetables. And this is kind of a starter line that we have with the Mirepoix, Trinity, and Sofrito. That's kind of the starters that you use a lot for just general cooking. And then we found chefs also wanted both carrot and corn to use in their applications. We found that why this line was such great interest was that, one, it saved a lot on labor. It was a starter base. And then chefs could use it to create their own menu applications and look at flavors in a different way. It can be used, you happen to have the Sofrito and Mirepoix as a salsa today, but we can use it in sauces and chilies, soups, and all sorts of different kind of applications. So we're very excited about it. We think there's a lot of good application for it, and we continue to look at what else we can do with vegetables for in the future. So that is my presentation. Thank you very much. Any questions? Oh, the student did the shrimp on the tortilla chip with black beans and the sofrito, along with the salsa that had some sofrito, avocado. I can't remember what else was in that salsa, but that's what he served last night. This is the sofrito and mirepoix as a blend. Oh. Well, where this is still clean food is that it's basically like onions, celery, and garlic, which is basically what you would start off with, or green peppers, bell peppers. So it's pure ingredients, even though it may be blended together. So, and we haven't really added any natural flavors or anything else that wouldn't belong into the puree itself. So I think clean means, I think you can read the label and you know the ingredients that are going into your body. Not necessarily. I'm not saying that. I mean, some people may, because sometimes you do need to use salt. Sometimes you may need to use sugar, depending on what the product is. But if you label it that way, then consumers know what it is. It's more like ingredients that you're not really sure, like maybe beta carotene, for example. Like, why do you need to use beta carotene in something? Some people would say it'd be for color, but why can't you use just natural to get the color that you're looking for? I think that's the difference. Okay. GMO is a very obviously hot topic, and for us, we do want to know that we are buying product that is not GMO. So we have to get certification from whatever is the source that we're buying it from to have on file for us so that we can label GMO. There's only for packaged foods, we are 99% GMO free, and the only product that is not is papaya out of Thailand. And so that product, or any product that has that ingredient, is not labeled GMO, but everything else is being labeled non-GMO. Charred, seared, grilled. Yeah, because that's not something that you've really seen before. Is like, for example, like grilling romaine. Putting a head of romaine lettuce on a grill and grilling it. It's fabulous. Or searing. They're actually cooking some vegetables so much that you're getting an ash from it. And they're using ash. I've seen it. I haven't actually tried it, but I've seen it as another cooking method that's happening. So they're doing a lot of different things with just different methods than just the typical saute or boil.